On August 22, 2022, Celsys has announced that they will be releasing a new pricing model for their popular art software, Clip Studio Paint, in 2023, which involves a new pricing model for its upcoming version 2, known as the Update Pass. This announcement has enraged the art community, even driving some loyal artists away from the program entirely. But a lot of that backlash has been fueled by misinformation and fear-mongering that has spread across YouTube and Twitter. A lot of it claims that Clip Studio Paint is becoming another Adobe and even had quote-unquote betrayed their long-term customer base. Even Celsys themselves had to clarify things to defend themselves. And I gotta be honest, I am way more disappointed about the misinformation about the Update Pass than the actual Update Pass itself. Hopefully I can clear up some misconceptions so that artists can make actually informed decisions about their software. So first, let me clear something up right now. Perpetual licenses are not going away with version 2. And if you actually read the news post in full like I did, it says so quite clearly that version 2 will be available to purchase perpetually. However, the way the Perpetual software gets updated will be changed. As for subscriptions in general, they've always been there for Clip Studio, but they were sold as an alternative to Perpetual licenses. Now, before we get into the big scary Update Pass, let me first explain how the business model of Perpetual licensed software works. Before subscription models became popular amongst creative software, companies would release a software and sell it at one upfront price. And all consumers who purchased it will have full rights to use a copy of that first version of the software. Now, if the company decides to build upon said software and release a new major version of that software with cool new features, they will no longer update the previous version, and the consumers will need to buy a license for the new version of the software if they want the new features. This was how an upgrade from Flash CS3 to Flash CS4 worked. This was how an upgrade from Windows 2000 to Windows XP worked. This is how the Perpetual license options for Microsoft Office works. Perpetual licenses for CSP are no different from this. Ultimately, this was how a company stayed afloat with a Perpetual license business model before subscriptions became the norm. And for those who are upset about having to pay for major updates at all, regardless if it's through multiple Perpetual licenses or not, unfortunately, in the world of Perpetual software, we can't have our cake and eat it too in the long run. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the Update Pass subscription. If we carefully take a look at this flowchart, we see that the Update Pass allows you to receive feature updates as they are being developed. Note that this is only for updates that add new features and does not apply to bug fixes, as those will remain free regardless of your version. However, now listen very closely, you are only required to purchase this pass if you want new features as they are being developed. Otherwise, you are absolutely free to use a Perpetual license of version 1 or version 2 with only bug fixes, and wait until the release of version 3 comes out. Basically, think of it as an early access to version 3. Though I do admit it was very, very poorly named. Now let me say this one more time. You are not required to purchase the Update Pass to use version 2. Hell, in all honesty, you aren't really even required to keep upgrading past version 1 if you really don't want to. A lot of creatives such as PhantomArcade and MayaLaCookie still use unsupported versions of Flash to this very day. Clip Studio is incentivizing, but not forcing us to get an Update Pass. Now with that being said, do I agree with the existence of the Update Pass? No. Quite frankly, I feel that even though the Update Pass and subscription plans are optional, as you can just buy each new major version that comes out if you're willing to wait for the new features, I do agree that Celsys does seem to be really pushing said subscription models on us. I get that subscriptions tend to be profitable, like really profitable, but all in all, the Clip Studio community is pretty opposed to that model in general. I understand that Celsys still needs to stay afloat as a company, which is why I'm okay with the option of having the old-fashioned model where we purchase each new version of Clip Studio separately, as I do believe it is a relatively fair trade-off of having the option to buy a Perpetual license like we always wanted. But I don't like how Clip Studio is waving feature updates for version 2 in our face before the release of version 3. It makes it look like they're trying to capitalize off impatience, if I'm honest, and it even feels taunting to a degree. And considering they already have a subscription plan as an option that also gets updates as it goes, it all kinda sounds like a Mr. Krabs thing to do. Personally, if I were Celsys, I would have withheld new features in development until the release of each new major version. And if financially feasible, I would have also offered paid upgrades cheaper than a new perpetual license for those who want to upgrade to a new major version. Now I will say one thing, I am still very glad that we still get to choose what purchasing model, perpetual or subscription, works best for our own individual needs. And that it's not becoming a subscription-only model, like a lot of headlines, video titles, and even memes seem to suggest. But I am afraid that the update pass could be a warning sign that options may not last forever. While this whole video emphasizes the fact that Clip Studio is not becoming another Adobe right now, it is certainly not out of the question that it very well may be in the future, maybe sooner than we may expect. But this is where I believe we do have a voice. Perhaps if enough Clip Studio users forego the update pass and stick to a static perpetual license or even a regular subscription, as well as inform others about it accurately without fear-mongering or misleading, Celsys would realize that maybe the update pass wasn't such a good idea after all. It may not seem like it, but we do have a voice in the matter. Hell, we've even seen it on Twitter that they literally responded to the controversy themselves. But I heavily encourage you to do your proper research on the update pass and available perpetual and subscription models before trying to influence other artists' purchasing decisions. Please inform, but do not mislead or jump immediately to conclusions. Both parties suffer if you do. So what are your thoughts on Clip Studio's new update pass? Are you looking to stick to a perpetual license despite no free feature updates? Are you considering a free alternative? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon!